Well, just 5 games into the season, Mid-Buchanan boys basketball has been tested and they've passed. KCI tournament champs are still undefeated, but Tuesday night's opponents hope to change that in a rivalry game. We go to DeKalb. Mid-Buck trying to start the season 6-0, but DeKalb hoping to ruin that. Early on, Dragons defense playing a big role. Braden Kemper steals the inbound. No-look one-hand pass to Chase Gilbert, puts it off the glass. They lead it 8-4, but DeKalb battles back. Darren Hoare pumps, drives, draws the foul, gets the bucket, missed the free throw, but the Tigers lead 14-10. That would be all, though. The Dragons go on a run. Garrett Molden, nice left-hander, puts them up by 1. Building on that mid-second quarter, Gilbert driving, drops it off to Austin Skaggs. 7-point ball game. Skaggs had 10 at the break. Mid-Buck led by 11 at the half. They go on to win it 69-48. The KCI opener for Mid-Buchanan and lost, and the Dragons won this matchup in a tournament a week ago. The Cardinals come out looking for some revenge. Seth Hendrickson finding a cutting Mason Cox. Cox lays it in. Both teams are neck and neck, tied 9-9 after the first. Then the Dragons turn it on. Cody Kirshner on the baseline, bouncing to Austin Skaggs. He's not missing from there. It's a 9-0 Mid-Buck run. Kemper's club keeps it rolling before the half. Garrett Molden with the fake, takes it himself, drops it in on a finger roll. Mid-Buck led by 16 at the end of 3. Lawson makes a run, but the Dragons pull out a 67.
Next boys game, not so close. Mid-Buck and Rockport. Dragons and Austin Skaggs taking care of business. Early second half, big to big. Garrett Molden finds Skaggs, 24-point game. Not long after, Skaggs looking for more. No good on the first, but cleans up his own mess. Blue Jays, no answer for the senior. How about just go right to him on the inbound? A cross-court pass under the hoop, and that is just too easy. Mid-Buck wins big, 60-32.
The Dragons, coming off their first loss of the season last night, picked this one up in the 4th. Mid-Buck has the lead, and they're adding to it. Braden Kemper lets the 3 fly. He hits the Dragons up by 5. Next possession, Kemper's big minutes continue, this time from the corner. Drives to the block. Tough move around the defender. The floater is good. 18 points for Kemper. The Dragons are feeling it, but LeBlanc has one more push left in them. Cage Lennig hoisting the 3 ball, knocks it down, plus a 3-point play a little later on. LB cuts it down to 6, but Mid-Buck was just too much to overcome. The Dragons hang on for a 59-55 win. They take the 3rd place trophy. Mid-Buchanan boys basketball finished 9 games over 500 to reach the district title. They knew they'd be talented once again, bringing back 8 juniors and seniors, but as it turns out, Mid-Buck's skills reach beyond the basketball court.
It didn't take long for Mid-Buchanan to earn respect around the Show Me State this season. The Dragons are off to a 9-1 start, ranked 10th in Class 2, and already won the KCI tournament.
And this same crew's kind of, the core has been playing together since they were freshmen and sophomores, and now they're junior and seniors. So we certainly felt like they were going to be a good basketball group and had potential to do something good this year.
But as it turned out, that potential was in more than just wins and losses, and they were showing it off in practice on New Year's Eve.
Them good girls, straight masterpieces, styling, wilding, living it up in the city.
2 days after their first loss of the season, Mid-Buck broke up a tedious basketball schedule by putting their own spin on the hit song Uptown Funk.
Don't believe me, just right.
We just kind of felt like maybe we were in a little bit of a rut, and it was time to bounce it out there, and the kids really took into it. I think they thought we were going to have a practice at first, and then we got after it, so it was pretty fun.
And it didn't take much convincing to get the players on board for the lip sync and to put their moves on display.
I tried not to dance too much. I didn't want to embarrass myself too much, but I let out a little bit of moves every once in a while, but yeah, it was fun.
I already knew the lyrics to the song. I sing it all the time in the shower. I mean, that's where I'm the best, like I'm on American Idol. But no matter what song it was, we would have all had fun doing it and created and lived up to it anyway.
What started as a video for the Mid-Buchanan community blew up. It was shared on social media hundreds of times and had 3,000 views after just 24 hours. The video's title, Leaked Footage, played a role in that.
He told us in practice, he goes, we're going to put it as leaked so people will click on it to say, oh, hey, maybe we'll get some good intel on them real quick. And, well, they found out we're pretty good dancers.
It's a unique team-building activity for a group that's in it for more than just wins.
It's fun just going out and bonding as a team. I mean, not every team gets those experience to know their teammates that well.
If you ever need someone to fall back on, your team's going to be right there for you, ready to take on whatever you had to take.
And the team that dances together stays together.
Don't believe me, just watch. Come on.
Now they say there's no sequel in the works just yet, but you never know. Mid-Buck begins a stretch of 4 straight. Well, still in St. Joseph, Mid-Buck edged LeBlanc by 5 in December. The Eagles with a chance to return the favor tonight. Third quarter, they're putting it on Mid-Buchanan. Sam Shaughnessy spots up for 3. Money. Eagles go ahead by 11. Into the period, though, the Dragons trying to steal some momentum back. Quick pass into Matt Carpenter. The senior cans the 3 ball at the buzzer. Mid-Buck down by 8, and they keep climbing. 2 minutes to play in the ball game. Mid-Buck completes the comeback. Garrett Molden finds Jacob Michael wide open. Michael thinks about it and lets it fly. Tie ball game. The Dragons able to hit some late free throws to go ahead for good as they down LeBlanc 47-40.
KCI conference clash in Fawcett. Dragons come out firing. Brady Kemper to Austin Skaggs. You can count that. He ended with a game-high 19. A little bit later, Garrett Molden can't get the layup to fall. Chase Gilbert cleaning things up. He puts it back 26-17 Mid-Buchanan at halftime. Dragons loving it. Second half, and the next chance for Molden, taking care of things himself. 3 ball, and that one does fall. Maryville trying to keep up. Jacob Gray finds John Zimmerman in the corner. A 3 of his own, but not enough in the tank. Mid-Buck takes down Maryville 58-39.
Good evening. Well, there's still nearly a month left in the high school basketball regular season and a lot of games left to decide conference champions. But a contest tonight could go a long way toward deciding the KCI. We take you out to Fawcett. It's court warming for the number 7 team in Class 2, Mid-Buchanan, hosting East Buchanan. Last year, these two teams split a pair of meetings. They draw a big crowd again tonight, including an ESPN sighting in the student section. The Dragon faithful getting creative for this one. Now, East Buck rolling without a pair of starters due to technical fouls in previous games. The Dogs needing others to step up, and Grant Minson's in. He had 10 first-half points. Later on, Zach Johnson doing his part. Johnson working his way into the lane, puts up a shot. Friendly rims in Fawcett for East Buck. The Dogs to the 2-point edge in the first quarter, but the home team finds a rhythm. Braden Kemper throwing a strike to Austin Skaggs. Skaggs able to lay it in. Mid-Buck goes ahead by 2. East Buck evens it up, so the Dragons fire back a couple possessions later. Garrett Molden, no look pass to Kemper. The junior sends a high arcing 3, knocks it down. The Dragons are fired up. Into the first half, though, East Buck not going to the locker room quietly. Drew McPike guarded tightly, pulls up, knocks it down as the buzzer sounds. The Dogs are feeling good, but they're not able to finish this one in the second half. Mid-Buchanan pulls away for a 45-35 win. They are still perfect in KC. High school basketball from the North Platte Invitational. Jefferson and Mid-Buck battling for a championship berth. Second half, Eagles matching the Dragons. Ben Germain sending it into the post. Caden Farnan showing the moves on the block. Gets the turnaround bucket over the D. Jefferson down by just 6. Mid-Buck trying to get some breathing room. A freshman steps up for the Dragons. Hunter Skaggs goes baseline, works hard for the lay-in. Mid-Buchanan ahead by as many as 16 in the third quarter, but Jefferson keeps coming. Corby Walker on the kick-out, cans the 3 ball. Eagles back within 8, but the Dragons keep them at arm's length. Mid-Buck wins 60-50. They move on to Saturday's championship game. Good evening. We've reached the final tournament weekend of the basketball season until districts arrive, and the Mound City boys haven't lost a tournament game all year. Today is Mid-Buck's turn to challenge that. The Dragons and the Panthers playing for the North Platte Invitational title. Neither of these teams have lost in nearly a month, but the Panthers are in an early hole down by 10, trying to make a push. Ben Shiflett gets the runner to drop. They are back within 8, couple possessions later. Hayden Mars finding a wide open Jaden Gillenwater. Gillenwater knocks down the 3 ball. Mound City climbs within 2 of Mid-Buchanan, but then the Dragons start to heat up. Jacob Michael gets an open look, knocks down the jumper. Next time down the floor, Michael by himself in the corner, 3-pointer good. Next possession, Garrett Molden spots up. Mid-Buchanan finishing the half on a 14-0 run. They pull away for a 52-33 win.
Buchanan putting together a pretty impressive season themselves so far. Tonight they host University Academy. Dragons off to a bit of a slow start in the first. Tyler Redmond, a nice little up and under. Dragons find themselves down 11-4. With Mid-Buck just getting warmed up. Later in the frame, Chase Gilbert to Austin Skaggs. Gets it to fall through the contact, and Mid-Buck takes the lead. Dragons and Griffins in a tight one at the break. Mid-Buck led by 2. Took care of business in the second half. Mid-Buck outlasts University Academy, winning 56-47.
Hamilton's jumped from 3 wins a season ago to contending for a KCI title this year. 2 more wins, and they get at least a share of the league. The hard part for the Hornets, Mid-Buck hasn't lost at home all year. We take you to Fawcett. The Dragons just a win away from their 5th conference title in 10 years, and both teams trading punches the first 4 minutes, but Mid-Buck's defense led to a lot of offense. Chase Gilbert with the deflection. Garrett Molden able to scoop the loose ball, and he's going to keep this one himself. The big man looking smooth in the lane, lays it in. Dragons go ahead by 16 points in the first. They are fired up. Hamilton claws back to get within 10. and that's when Braden Kemper turns it up. Kemper scored 10 of his 26 points in the second quarter, including this giant killer. Mid-Buck goes on to win it 74-64. They are KCI champs. A win over North Platte next week. Mid-Buck will have its first perfect conference record since 2010. District 16, Mid-Buchanan meeting North Platte. Dragons beat the Panthers by 29 in the regular season. Mid-Buck starting a little slow tonight, though. The Panthers took advantage. Austin Shanks from the corner drains it. We've got a tie ball game early. Only a 2-point Dragon lead after the first, but they start to pick up the pace. Austin Skaggs working in the paint, puts up the hook shot, and he is able to get it. And in the second half, Mid-Buck pulls away. Braden Kemper finished with 21 points, 18 of them on threes. The Dragons roll 69. Well, in Class 2, Mid-Buchanan's reeled off 19 wins in a row. They meet Wellington Napoleon, who reached the Class 1 quarterfinals last year, and the Tigers look up to the challenge tonight. Dragons trailing by 19 in the second half. Late third quarter, Bryce Kemper's team flips a switch. Braden Kemper to Austin Skaggs. Skaggs finds him on the wing. Kemper unloads a three. Good, but it's still a 16-point game. The Dragons have a long way to go. Still climbing back in the fourth. Garrett Molden to Skaggs. Skaggs shows some touch. 4-point ball game. 3 minutes to play now. The Dragons jump in front for good. Skaggs comes up with the loose ball and takes it in. He had 12 points in the fourth quarter alone. Mid-Buchanan completes the massive comeback. They move to the quarters for the first time ever with a 60-49 win. Good evening. Well, Bryce Kemper's 10 years at Mid-Buchanan, the Dragons have put together some solid credentials. 5 conference titles, 3 district championships, and 220 total wins, but the program's never found a way to the Final Four. The Dragons get a shot at it today. 28-1 Mid-Buck against the defending state champ Sacred Heart. Dragons in front by 3 in the third quarter. Jacob Michael attacking, gets the edge, bucket through the contact. Garrett Molden appreciates that. Free throw is good. Mid-Buck leads by 6, but the Gremlins come back with an answer. Kick out to Chase Lyles. He drives, gets fouled as the shot rattles home. Sacred Heart is back within 1 possession, but Mid-Buck starts rolling not long after. Molden puts it on the deck to the hoop. He hits the layup plus the harm. The Dragons are feeling it. Kemper and Colby Gibson are fired up on the sideline. 3 minutes to go in the game. Mid-Buchanan seals it on the offensive glass. Braden Kemper to Austin Skaggs. First shot is no good, but Skaggs sticks with it and puts it away. Mid-Buchanan is heading to Columbia. The Dragons win it 61-49.
I knew we'd pull through. I mean, we knew that they would go on a run, but we just had to keep battling through it to get to the win.
Everybody's doubted us. Ever since we lost to Chillicothe, everybody thought that we couldn't do it, we wouldn't be here, but right now we're here to prove people wrong. We're here to write our own history.
The Dragons advance to face Canton on Thursday. Mid-Buchanan head basketball coach Bryce Kemper is reaching new heights as he leads the Dragons to the Class 2 semifinals. And throughout his career, Kemper's always had different mentors to lean on. From former Cameron coaches Kevin Nichols and Gary Belcher to Mid-Buck AD Russell Gray, but there's one coach that had an influence on Kemper since birth.
After 13 seasons climbing the ladder, Bryce Kemper has Mid-Buck on the doorstep of a state championship. But a career that's reaching new levels started with a simple quote in the Cameron newspaper during his senior year of high school.
Mine said, I don't know, I guess I'll go to Northwest, graduate, and be a coach.
And that plan of action has worked for Kemper. In stints with King City and Mid-Buchanan as a head coach, he's won nearly 300 games and 6 district championships.
Let's go.
The success for Kemper comes from a life dedicated to the game.
He's been a gym rat forever. I mean, he was born in May, and by the middle of June, I was taking him in a carrier, which aren't near as heavy as they are now, and taking him, putting him up in the top of the bleachers while I was having an open gym. I mean, he's always been around the sport.
Julie Kemper, Bryce's mom, spent 31 years coaching between Plattsburgh and Cameron, and it didn't take long to pass the love of basketball down to her son.
Being able to share that with your mother is awesome. You know, a lot of people probably have the father-son coaching thing, and with ours it's a mother-son coaching thing.
I kind of wanted him to go into another field just because I know how hard this is to coach and the demands are made on you, but the first couple of years he was at King City and just watching him and listening to him, you know, I knew he was going to be a good coach because he was telling the kids the right things.
And before long, a third generation of Kempers in coaching will emerge. Braden Kemper is averaging nearly 6 assists per game as his dad's starting point guard, and once his playing days are over, he'll join the family business.
It's pretty nice to have a family tradition of coaching and playing, and I want to be a coach someday, so that'd be nice to do the same thing here, to set up a good program and have fun doing it.
Basketball is a Kemper tradition that's only growing stronger as Mid-Buchanan heads to the Final Four this weekend.
You want it so much for those kids, you want it for your grandson, you want it for your son, and you want it for the whole team, because you don't know how many chances you'll ever get. So yeah, when you get there, it's just like, yeah, wait, you're just like, yeah, made it. That's great.
Kemper and the Dragons make their first appearance in the Class 2 semifinals on Thursday afternoon.
Mid-Buchanan's cleared its fair share of hurdles to get to this point in the season, from overcoming a 19-point deficit against Wellington in sectionals to knocking off the defending state champ last week. Today, the Dragons looking for a berth in their first state title game. Mid-Buck meeting Canton in the semifinals. The Tigers' biggest threat, 6'3" guard Gabe McKenzie. He averages a double-double each night. And a quick start here. First quarter, McKenzie is money. The senior knocks down the three. He had 8 first-quarter points, finished with 19. Now Mid-Buck found a rhythm late in the first frame, down by 6. They're finding the big man Austin Skaggs on the lob pass. Nice hands, lays it in. Skaggs finished with 18 points. Later, it's another senior, Garrett Molden, in transition. Molden takes it all the way in. Fouled, gets the friendly roll. He was a big spark for the Dragons. 8 of their 14 second quarter points. Mid-Buck climbed in front by 4 heading to the 4th, and Jacob Michael gave them the biggest lead of the day. 3-pointer from the junior makes it a 9-point game. Canton pushes back, but Mid-Buchanan pulls out a 60-53 win. The Dragons are on to their first state championship appearance. Kemper said that after looking shell-shocked early, emotional plays by Molden set this team back on the right track.
He wears his emotions on his sleeve, but he also, you need some of those guys sometimes to pick you up and get you going, and that was huge for us there, and especially with Michael sitting on the bench for 2 fouls, we needed somebody to pick us up, and I thought he did a great job with it.
In Saturday's championship game, Mid-Buchanan will play for its first state title against Scott County Central, a program that has 17 championships already under their belt. Reporting in Columbia, I'm Matt Tritton, KQ2 Sports.
Some would say that's probably how it is, but you know, there's no doubt in my mind that we can't go out there and you know, make history, but it's going to be a little tough, and we're going to have to go out there and play our best basketball, probably the best basketball we played all season.
Everyone has to play defense and rebound. It's basketball, and I think we have the players that everyone can play defense, and we know that if everyone rebounds well, we have a shot.
They trust one another. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is they trust that we're doing our job right. They trust that the guy next to him is doing their job right, and I think that allows us to adjust a lot. But it has been a different group from that standpoint, a group dynamic, and I think the fact that they care about each other so much really helps.
Good evening. Class 1 and 2 boys high school basketball rolled on the final round at state. We'll take it to KQ2's Chucky Kemp reporting from Columbia.
A packed house today at Mizzou Arena for the Missouri State Basketball Championships. Mid-Buchanan and Scott County Central kicking things off. Scott County looking for their 18th title in 20 tries. Mid-Buck for #1 in their first try. Garrett Molden and the Dragons looking to cap their historic run with a state title. Not the start they hoped they would have. Down 6 with 4 to go in the first quarter. Jeffrey Porter to Trey Moore. 3-ball falls. 13-5 Braves. Dragons down 10 at the half. And here they come. Down 3, moving around the arc. Garrett Molden in the corner. Bang, finishes with 23 points on the game. Tie ball game. Jump early, 4th quarter, still tied. Feeding the other big man. Austin Skaggs, the senior, shrugs off the D, off the glass, back in front, 40-38. The Braves not going away. Under 1:30 to play, up 4 more to Javante Daniel. 23 for Daniel in the day. That led all scorers. Scott County Central holds on to take the state title, 53-48.
So, I mean, we've seen players, and we just played the defending state champs in the quarterfinals. So, obviously they're good, but I really don't think these guys really let that affect them too much.
And then coming into this senior year, I knew we were going to be good. I mean, we had a lot of guys put in a lot of work this summer. The season was just overall just fantastic. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
16 Dragon turnovers proved to be costly, with Scott County turning it over just 7 times. Now next year's Mid-Buchanan squad will look a little bit different. 3 seniors graduating, including their top 2 scorers, Garrett Molden and Austin Skaggs. In Columbia, Chucky Kemp, KQ2 Sports.
Mid-Buchanan ended the season with a 30-2 record. Their last loss before today was back in December.
Do 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 do.